Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another week, and as it were. Every week seems to put us in a different place. Not necessarily a better place sometimes, but a different place. I hope you had a good weekend, or rather good week. And as I said, I hope that your Thanksgiving that we had a while back was good, and I hope that you're looking forward to the holidays. And hope you're not looking forward to having too much on the store shelves, because I don't think it's going to go very well that way. So, despite what our, I guess, that I hate to say are, but yes, it is someone, they do work for us, the spokesperson for the president, saying about everybody complaining about supply shortages, that you're just wanting to get your expensive, treadmills and so forth, and that's the only thing you're complaining about. We all know that's not true. There's some problems out there. We got to work through them. But this week, here at this point, I want to talk about something a little more closer to home. We originate this broadcast, as most of you know, here from Mesa County in Colorado. Over the years, it's managed to grow a bit and gets listened to other places. We've added some radio stations, some translators. We have been fortunate enough to have folks listen to us on the internet, and now we throw a few podcasts out there from our website, therickWagnerShow.com. And but nevertheless, I think one of the reasons that I've always wanted to do this show the way we do it is that I think it's important to remember who you are, and that we stay fundamentally close to what we've learned and where we've learned it. Personally, I'm a Westerner. I can't get that out of my system. I'm a person from the West. My family's always been here. They were ranchers, and they were farmers, and they settlers. A few of them managed to straggle over from Europe after not 1918, but most of them were here a long time. And so I can't get that out of my system, and so that's what I want to tap into when I look at things. What I would say is that some of the troubles that we have recently in the nation that have unfortunately percolated down to our local levels have to be addressed locally. All government should address problems as near to their source as possible. We're living in an age where everyone seems to, everyone, my gosh, I can't possibly say that. Too many people think that problems should be addressed in Washington or some faraway place, but some overarching government. I don't know how you can come to that conclusion. How does any of us feel about trying to solve a problem very far away from us that we feel like we don't have a lot of information on? I don't have that kind of hubris. I don't think most of you do either. And people that do bother me. The belief that you should always substitute your judgment for the people closer to what's happening on the ground. We in the West really see that, not only in the usual ways that people living everywhere in the nation see that, where directives and missives come flying away from capitals, state and national, sometimes that have little or no connection to the place that they are trying to enforce some of their ideas, laws, whatever. But it's especially important to people in the West because we are subject to so much federal oversight and control because of our land. So much of the West is still under control by the federal government, so we have a sense of it. The Bureau of Land Management, parks, every agency that seems to want to control how land is used in west of the Mississippi, certainly west of the Missouri, affects us, yet they don't seem to really want to have much to do with it. So we're very familiar with that. That's why we all understand, perhaps better than most in the country, that we have to address local problems locally. And if we have a good idea about the way we're doing it, expand it out. Let other localities see how we solve the problem and learn from that and adopt it to their purposes. Not the other way around, not from the top down. Never works. Here we've had a lot of controversy lately that's been disturbing me over our election system, what was going on in our clerk's office, all sorts of things. Very difficult to get your head wrapped around because it's difficult to say exactly what's going on. And I think we need to know more about it. And that's what I would encourage everyone, to wait until we have all of the facts. Now, how do we get the facts? It's not so easy. Even in the best of times, things that come out of court systems and investigations and so forth are slow to develop. No one ever wants to say anything while they're working on it because somehow it will influence it some way, and it becomes very secretive. That's the nature of investigation sometimes. Oftentimes, it is important to not let people direction you're going so that you can find out what's happening without people altering their behavior or whatever the case may be. Sometimes it's just because it becomes a habit, that everything is held close to the vest, and it may not necessarily be necessary. I would say that what's happening here in Mason County is a good example of a time for reflection and restraint. I can't tell what the real mood out there is. I have read some disturbing things, and by disturbing, I mean kind of the way they're written. I don't get any information out of it, but I do get some, I don't know, a manner of describing events that I think do nothing to make people feel like they're being taken seriously and instead kind of inflame them. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't people out there all over the spectrum that are problems. We all know people that are problems that attach themselves to issues and so forth that, that they manifest their problems through. Don't even know that. I do know that I have some confidence in the system we have here in the West. I have a confidence in our local system here. I know some people have been losing a little bit in that, but I don't think we're ready to feel that way as yet. Here in Mesa County, we have a brand new sheriff. Now, we had our old sheriff who had been there for a while, and he had left for another job, and so we had someone jump in. Now, as many of you know, I worked for the sheriff for a long time, and in a position that we made a lot of changes and worked very hard to bring things into the 21st century. We had a great sheriff, Rick Clausen. And luckily, I think many of the things that he did and that we did in the agency helped propel it through thick and thin in a way that kept it from having some problems that many agencies went through. I am sympathetic and feel a little sorry for the brand new sheriff that we have that stepped into it, and now we have all sorts of things, the federal government and people upset, and they look to the sheriff, as they should, as the elected representative of law enforcement in this county. The sheriff, as many of you know, and I am biased, I believe, is an incredibly important position, not only in our Constitution and what it represents, but it is one of the few situations where anybody gets to vote for a person that directly enforces the law. I hear this nonsense about the Attorney General. Oh, the Attorney General, he's the top law enforcement. And no, not. I mean, theoretically, the Attorney General enforces, through the courts, stands up for certain laws, does some prosecution, this and that. But no, the Attorney General isn't going to hop in a squad car and come try and save people. I'm tired of that. They set policy, good and bad. Just like we talked about things that are important to keep local and close to us, your sheriff is the person who's the closest to you. Police departments, good or bad, are appointed for the most part by someone else. And our form of government here, this city manager system, which should be scrapped and redone into at least some sort of mayoral system where we had some way to address the person that's actually running things, simply hires a chief of police. Good ones, bad ones, who knows? At least with the sheriff, you get a chance to take a look at him. And if you as a citizens don't like him, you can put a new one in there. And they are much more responsive to the people. I think that I need to let the sheriff get his feet under him a little bit more. And in the next segment, we're going to talk a little about some ideas. And I think things are better than some people believe them to be. It's just a matter of gathering ourselves and getting information that we need so that we can feel like we can make decisions about it. We haven't got it there yet, and we don't want to go rushing in. Fools rush in. We'll be back.